lotion. A nigga like the geek is poetry in motion. On this fucking set, I never will forget my first time thinking shit I come candy with. Red, of course, because it turns heads. Art instead, the nigga ain't scared to roll, stroll, and hold up the strip. You know I wear blue, cause I'm bottles Uber grip on the cut. What else should I think? Should I hit that tray and come serve and drink? Should I hit that FAT, cause he's out the wreck? Like putting that big pat around his motherfucking neck. On the big bone, rolling phone. No, I'm not alone. And in the damn gap, I got the fucking chrome. You know I roll quick. You know I'm not.
Y'all, the SlabOgsTV back at it again with another interview. Today we got another Lake Charles OG up in here. They're gonna tell y'all about this Lake Charles history and break down the slab and how it came to Lake Charles. You know what I'm saying? So first off, I want you to introduce yourself.
Shit, my name Big C.
Yeah, Big C. And can you break down, for the viewers that's not from Lake Charles, like, how it was coming up, the different hoods that's over here in Lake Charles?
Well, you got Gosport, which we on the countryside of it right now. But you got Gosport as the last hood in town on the north side. Then you got Fisherville, you got Car Shop, you got the Terrace, you got the Village, you got Brownsville, and it's a bunch of little cracks and crevices. They got little small towns around. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people this way.
Yeah. And from my understanding, over there in Houston, we've been riding slabs since the 80s and 90s, and from my understanding too. So if y'all been riding pretty much the same amount of time we have. So can you break down and tell us the OGs, that you seen coming up, being a kid, slabs they had and all that?
And really, when I was a kid, this Cadillac and shit, that was still basically new cars. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Your later model 80s vehicles to your early model 90s vehicles, that's the cars that they was picking to put together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Pretty much old school. Mm-hmm. But new then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What kind of drove Lake Charles to adapt to the slab? I know the rest of Louisiana, other than Lafayette and everything, Lafayette, Alexandria, they ride slab too. But what made Lake Charles kind of gravitate to the slab and these wheels?
Well, for one, Lake Charles closer. We 2 hours away. Really, the way we drive, we an hour and 40 minutes away. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna break it down to y'all like this. You got ESG, which he from Bugaloosa, but he been in Houston damn near all his life. Mm-hmm. He used to be out here with this cat named Nicky Schultz. You probably heard him say his name on a couple of screw tapes, a couple of songs and shit. I never knew who Nicky was because I was a little boy back then. Whenever he fell on his jokes or whatever, but ESG and Nicky, they would go to Houston together. Nicky knew all these people, and I got to know all this information by later on meeting Nicky after I grew up. You know what I'm saying? But that swinging and banging and all that shit, when he went there and he came back and brought it back with him, it's kind of been like that ever since.
Yeah. Okay. So do you remember the first slab you seen?
Man, first slab I seen was Calvin Ribbon.
What he had?
He had a 1984 Slabback.
Okay.
Marble Brandywine. Mm-hmm. First he didn't have the 90 kit. He only had just the impact strips on the front bumper and the headlights. Yeah. Then later on he put a 90 kit on it and painted it peanut butter to match the peanut butter inside.
Is that the car that's on the album cover of
X-Mob?
X-Mob, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had man, it was a lot of people, man. You interviewed one of the first people I seen riding Swangas back then. Matt Bernard. I remember seeing him and his brother Booby, his older brother. They always did have slabs and shit like that. My people Brad, he always had slabs. You got a dude named Flathead, he always kept slabs. You got a guy named C, because a couple of other people, you know what I'm saying, that still got cars that's holding on. You know, like nigga kind of older now, so that rushful shit nigga would be on back then. A nigga kind of like try to make it perfect as we can.
Yeah.
Which, you know, you still gonna have blemishes and shit because it is what it is. But
yeah. And from my understanding, from everybody telling me, you know, it really wasn't just too many shops back then. And they all say basically that it was kind of like y'all just was putting cars together like by y'all hands, and you was one of the main people that was helping everybody put their cars together.
Yeah, later on down the line, my first time actually seeing a car get put together was God rest his soul, my people Jack and Red Wolf. Red Wolf had a I want to say a 1983 Delta 88. It was candy red. They had an old man that everybody used to go to back then named Mr. Ronald. He was the candy man. And it was over there with his little boys watching them dudes put grills on, you know, taking a 90 grill like that, cutting the bumper, mounting the grill on, getting bumper headlights off of the Caprice, putting them on, you know, your rubber impact on your bumper, you gotta paint that to match the car. Nigga got belts, fifth, music, that pop trunk shit, that came down the line when Calvin came with that. Calvin was the first person ever to touch Louisiana to have a pop trunk.
And what did it say in this pop trunk?
I think it said Mr. Red,
Okay.
if I am mistaken.
Okay.
He had 13-inch house TV, VCR, screens falling from the ceiling. It's like 95, 96. Super Nintendo, surround sound playing in the car. You playing NBA Jam, you hear the nigga dribbling through the speakers and shit. Like, that was like the car of that time. You had that car, you had, they had another guy named Blue. He had a Regal, like an 87 Regal. It was nice. He had the candy blue with the Alfredo peanut butter. Back then, you know, a lot of people that was putting them cars together, if you ain't have no money, you had to resort to what you knew best, and that was finding other resources to make the shit work and put it together.
Yeah.
People like them, they had a little money, you know what I'm saying? So they would bring their shit to Houston, to Ike and Jack, and go to Alfredo and get their music and all their shit done surrounded by sound. But for the most part, my people was the people I seen put cars together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't never no, oh man, I gotta have this kind of car. It was like any box, you know, a box.
Yeah.
Any box you could find. That's what was up. The 90 conversion, that shit been around. But more so, everybody around here really just had the grill. Because it was like, back then, I'm not gonna say that people's mind wasn't aroused to that, but it was just all about making the car clean. The way I look at it now, you know, everybody 90 day shit, that shit cool as fuck to me. I like it. Especially on some of the cars they make it work on.
Yeah.
But if everybody look the same, then what you got?
Yeah.
You know, like back then, it wasn't all about who had the killer's slab. You know, it was a couple of people that felt that way, but back then that shit was really like motivational. For you to sit there and see it and you're like, man, I can't wait till I get my turn. And I'm a little boy listening to people older than me saying this, that's congratulating people that actually got this stuff going on. So, yeah, it's coincide hand in hand, man. Some of your baddest slabs is in Louisiana.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't travel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they got cars from Lake Charles all the way to Broke Bridge.
Yeah. And one of the things that I done heard is about Mr. Muhammad. You know, he was kind of like y'all, Mr. Davis. Can you explain who Mr. Muhammad was?
Farouk. Mr. Muhammad, he got a little shop in the neighborhood I grew up in, Fisherville. Community tire shop is what the name of it is. It's on the corner, a little green and yellow building. I'm quite sure one of these other boys gonna bring you by there and show you where it's at. But Mr. Muhammad was the only person in town that knew anything about the wheels, knew what it took to put the wheels on, and you had to buy everything from him.
Yeah.
If you didn't buy it from him, it wasn't gonna work. Now, unless you bought it from somebody that bought it from him.
Yeah.
Other than that, he had people come away from Lafayette, Opelousas. You know, he sell adapters, gorilla locks, washers, spinners, Krieger caps. He'll put your fifth together and put it on the car for you, boat you up, whatever you want to do. He actually sold a couple of cars too.
Yeah.
Cars that he put Swangas and shit on that he sold it to other people.
Yeah. Okay. And I know you told me a story where, you know, you actually met Mr. Davis before.
Yeah, I met Mr. Davis at Mr. Muhammad's shop. I had to be like 10, 11 years old. At this time, the world was a lot different than what it is right now. The select choice of music that we had and what people had going on at that moment, it's not, you know, it's really rough to go anywhere right now. They're killing people anywhere.
Yeah.
There's problems anywhere, you know what I'm saying? But back then it was more so, I grew up in the house with my big cousins, which is like my brothers, their mama raised me. And I'm 34, and my big cousin 44. I'm in March here in April, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have no kids in the house with me, so I didn't have no kids to hang out with except for when we went to go meet our cousins.
Yeah.
So everywhere they went, I had to go. You know, sometimes he ain't want to take me. I laugh about it now because I feel where he was coming from, nigga, cramping your style, you trying to make your pass on some legs or something. But, I ain't have no friends. I had to hang out with them. So riding in the car with them, and they would go back and forth to Houston to the screw shop and buy screw tapes when Screw was actually alive. So, you know, riding in the car with them is just the whole facade of the whole thing. Is what they talking about is about being player, is about having money, it's about fucking broads, it's about dressing nice, you know what I'm saying? It's about the slab, it's about living your life to the fullest, basically. You know, that's kind of like where I heard of Mr. Davis from, but meeting Mr. Davis with Mr. Muhammad was just some fluke type of shit. Just a normal day, me going down there, going to meet Mr. Muhammad, because I used to go down there and just sit down there with him all day. And he like, you don't know who that is? And I'm like, nah. He like, what? That's Mr. Davis. And he actually in a U-Haul type of vehicle, a cargo truck with wheels all in the back of it, then and there. He picking wheels up, dropping wheels off, and that was the first day I actually ever seen Mr. Muhammad with a gun.
Yeah.
Mr. Davis, every time I ever saw him, he had a gun on him. Later on down the line, when we was about, you can say I was about 15, 16, my cousin had to be like 18, 19, 20, somewhere up in there. He actually bought a set of wheels from a dude that we know. And we took our shot, threw him in the trunk, and we shot to Houston, some little boys.
Yeah.
We went to go meet Mr. Davis, and Muhammad called him and told him we was coming and everything. When we got there, all I can remember, man, when we walked in the door, when he closed the door, it sounded like a jailhouse burglar bar. And he got the locking on locks on that motherfucker. And I'm like, man, what's going on? He got a big old gun on him. And he like, man, y'all come to the back. And he actually had a wheel he fixed, a wheel that was peeling, a rusty wheel, a welded wheel, you know, showing what his service was all about. My cousin left the wheels with him, called us back, we went back and picked him up. And that might have been the last time I saw him, that was years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I only really actually met him 2 times in my life.
So when did you come into, you know, building your first slab? What was it? The first slab ain't make it. Why you say that?
I had a 1987 Buick Regal. Of course, a nigga young, really in the street a little bit. My people didn't want to put insurance on it for me. I couldn't even bring it home. But that was my first car, the first car I loved it. And it was because Blue had one. You know what I'm saying? And when he came with it, he killed it. They had a guy after him, had a green one named LT. His was nice too, but that one didn't make it. The first car I actually painted and had everything for except for the wheels. I had a 1988 Chevy Caprice. I had painted it blue. You know what I'm saying? I had 415s, like 8.6x9s, all that shit in the house. Really waiting on saving up to get some wheels. Nigga set it on fire though. Got into it with some niggas and some other shit went on, but that's another story.
Yeah.
The first one I actually hit the streets with though, finished all the way, was my 1985 Buick Mercedes. Yeah, it's lime gold over plated green. House of Colors.
And so, like, could you explain, you know what I'm saying, if there is a difference between Houston, the way Houston cars, the way Houston people put their cars together, and the way Lake Charles people put their cars together? Is there a difference? Like maybe
you could say yeah, but I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
Because I'm 34. You know what I'm saying? Before they had internet and all this other shit they got going on, it was really based off what you seen. You know, you had to have a Polaroid picture or some shit to capture this moment. Mm-hmm. Like you ain't see a slab like that.
Yeah.
You know how every day now you can see a slab. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you saw a slab, it was something special going on, or a nigga just felt like that day was his day to ride.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But back then it was a handful of them. I see Swangas every day. Mm-hmm. People that ride them to work. You know what I'm saying? Niggas that just ride them all day.
Was y'all going to Houston a lot, you know what I'm saying, just to check out the slab scene over there?
After we got old enough, yeah, we would leave. We would go to the Real Kings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go get music and CDs and all kind of other shit. They got that boy, man, selling music on the corner of MLK, Mike. Yeah. Man, I've been knowing Mike. Man, I was a little boy, man. I was like 16, 17 years old. Buying music from Mike at the real flea market. You know what I'm saying? We been going to Houston, just ride by the club, check it out, see what we can see. Really, I done been to Houston a lot of times and ain't seen one slab. Yeah. And I done been a lot of times here lately, you know, it's more of a fan now, so they really outside with it. Yeah, I done been to Houston a couple of times, all of the screw shop and all that, ain't seen one pair of elbows. Yeah. And there been other days, been like, damn, look at that motherfucker, look at that bitch. You know, it's always good to see the cars that you see on camera in person too. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of cars, you know, we all on the internet, on Facebook, Boys and Slabs, you got Louisiana Slab Riders, all kind of little groups and shit they got. So, you know, people pass their pictures across there, but to actually see some of that shit in person be cool.
Yeah. Do y'all, like Charles, have like a specific car that y'all like, you know what I'm saying? When y'all find that car, y'all like, okay, that's the one I'm put together with. It'd be a Fleetwood, a L-Dog, Slantback.
Man, I never really was a Cadillac dude, bro. I ended up with that Cadillac right there. I got that Cadillac from a dude that's something like my brother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? One day he was just like, man, I'm not gonna do shit with that, man. You gonna do something with it here. And I really didn't never really do nothing with it yet because I know once I finish it, I'm gonna be looking for something else to do. So I just fuck around. You know, I put the wheels on, the grill on, ride it with a couple little prime spots on it, a little Mondo patch on it. I don't give a fuck about this shit. I put cars together, you know what I'm saying? If I really wanted to do it, I could go in there and go do it today, tomorrow. It really don't matter. But right now, the cars that they really own is them shorties, man. They own them shorties and them newer model cars. Me, I'm stuck in what I saw. A lot of them ain't see what I seen. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them ain't get a chance to witness none of that shit. Like, I actually saw this shit firsthand, like, how it really go. I done seen bullshit slabs, I done seen killer slabs. I done seen the best, I done seen the worst. I done seen how sweet the game was, how sugar and shit it done went to. I done seen every part of it. What make me like the shit is putting the car together. I put cars together for people all the time, so actually Brad was the reason why I actually put my car together. Because it's like, man, I hook up music, I paint cars, put bumper kits on, grills, fifth wheels, whatever the fuck you can name. I be acting nonchalant on a lot of shit like I don't know what the fuck, but I'm really the dude, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these cars that you see my hand and touched on it, if not once, twice, you know what I'm saying? People don't, how can I put it? People spend money based off of what they see other people do. A lot of people don't have their own mind when they come to building a car. So a lot of my clientele and my customers come from Houston, come from Lafayette, come from Opelousas, come from Oakdale, come from, it's Shreveport, it's Alexandria. You know, they got niggas riding Swangas everywhere around there. They got St. Martinville, they got New Iberia. They got all kind of stuff back there. You know, people got all kind of cars.
Yeah. So how did you come into, you have your own shop, right?
Yeah, you can say that.
How did you come into having your own shop, you know what I'm saying?
Man, to be honest with you, bro, it's really my cousin's shop. But what me and him do is two totally different things. You know, he fix wreck cars for people. I customize cars for people. So a lot of my work lasts longer than theirs because I'm putting the sunroof on and doing body work and painting. And I gotta hook the music up. I gotta put the wheel in the fifth and put it on and bolt the car up. Like they drop me their car off and pick it back up with everything on it already. You know what I'm saying? And I got other little people that I go to. I got my boy Terrell Milson. He live in Crowley. That's like about 40 minutes from here, 35 minutes from here. He do interior. You know what I'm saying? He's a upholstery man.
Yeah.
So me and him kind of work together on a lot of stuff too.
Yeah. Okay. And like, you know, in Houston we got Corey Blunt, Stick One, Byron Mack, who is like the equivalent to that out here. You know what I'm saying? That's like y'all quote unquote Slab King, you know what I'm saying? That anytime he touch something, he kill him. Or if y'all hear he finna go in the shop, he finna come out with something bad.
You had Calvin Redmond, you had Chris Doucette, you had the guy named Tricky, you had Charles Welcome, you had Brad, you had Matt Bernard, Booby Bernard, Josh Bernard, Red Wolf, little Tony Bernard, he had a couple little cars, Flathead. They had a dude named Kevin Red, he had a station wagon. I'm quite sure they're gonna show you Flat got one too. They cousins, as a matter of fact. But Kevin Red had a Kidney Red station wagon back then with a grill and some bubbles on it, jamming, pop tailgate on it. Man, you had Rob Ruffin, you had Rob B, you had Didi Mo, a chick. I witnessed her buy Swangas from Mr. Muhammad Cash Money. Man, it's a lot of people. You had Hayward Henderson, you had Fats, you had Jack. Man, it's Wern, Duke, the Johnson Hall boys. Back then, the game was sweet. You know what I'm saying? It was different sides of town. The Southside rolled gold, and the Northside rolled chrome. You know, the Northside had more of a slab, and then you had the boys on the Southside with the up-to-date slabs. You know what I'm saying? Suburbans and T-top 87 Monte Carlos, Cadillacs. Man, it was a lot of different shit going on. You know, they had them boys with mini trucks, motorcycle clicks. You know, they had all kind of different shit going on back then.
Yeah.
But the place, you can say y'all got MLK. The Civic Center was mostly like our MLK.
And what like back in the day, like what would that scene be like pulling up to the Civic Center?
Man, it was, you had people that was there early, and then you had people that went there really to see cars.
Yeah.
You know, they got some chicks they gonna holler at or whatever, but everybody putting the car together, everybody want to see what everybody's car look like. So everybody out there trying to see what they can see.
Yeah.
See how this boy came, or see what he looked like, because they heard all week from Mondays, from last Sunday, such and such come out the shop this Friday. He gonna pass by the clubs and all that shit, but Sunday he going to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? And that's where it is. It's either you make it or you don't. But back then, bro, a lot of them cars, man, when them boys was putting them cars together, man, that shit looked real good. Wouldn't really never know
What about the
blemishes. Like,
what about the old car wash that y'all used to go to?
oh yeah, on Highway 14, they actually tore it down, bro. I'm glad that I actually got to drive a slab on the parking lot, because that was like one of the number one hangouts. No matter on a Friday or whatever, boys is out there till whenever the people in the neighborhood call in on the music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The whole parking lot full to the law school. They tore it down now. It ain't up there no more.
What would you say is the difference between the era back then to now?
The competition.
What you mean by that?
A lot of them make this shit harder than what it really is. Like, I smoke a lot of weed, so my mind stay constantly thinking about what I can do, what can be done. Matt Bernard called me on the phone, bro, and was like, say, man, I got this 90 front, these pieces and this shit. Man, you think you can actually put this shit together for me on my car? But if you can't do it, I'm gonna go to Eddie. You know, he had to call Eddie on the phone in front of me. He was gonna load the car and take it to Houston. But he more so wanted to build the car here. You know what I mean? More for us when we build our cars here than bringing it down there and paying them all our money. You know what I'm saying? Like, certain people gonna come, certain people not gonna come. Certain people gonna hate, certain people gonna have something to say. You know, certain people don't even know you and they just go off what other people say about you. But the ones that know, they know who to go to, they know where to go to, they know who to go find. If they can't find them, who they need to be with so they can find them. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people that I know. I know they got cats in Appaloosas. I know Payne Kennedy, Oscar. They got all kind of different people, man. They got Harvey, Lafayette, Wet, Super Wet. Some good painters, DeWarren, Butte from Eunice. Been painting over 15, 20 years. 25 years might be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I met a lot of people fucking with cars, man. A lot of people.
What's your thoughts on like the new era today?
I like all of it.
Well, I mean by that, like, you know, like somebody that might put like a newer car together, you know.
Oh yeah, how they max them out with it is what I like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't really too much chrome and shit on that motherfucker, so you got to really actually know what you gonna do to it. You know what I'm saying? To make that bitch a killer.
Yeah.
So, my kinfolk, Dominique, he got a little Serve. He got a little Serve. I want to say probably like a 09, 2010. That bitch maxed out. Candy red interior, big panoramic, pop trunk, neon tubes, music. You got my boy Slim, he got him like a 05 LeSabre, which it was one of them teal cars from off the north end.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand out with no handouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got that out here now. He got him some 22s on there. My kinfolk Dominique brother Lil D, he got a little saber he put together. And they actually go and spend their money. Like they actually go to Houston and go pay what that shit costs.
Yeah.
They like that shit nice, you know what I'm saying? I don't knock them. Teach you on. But they like that shit nice. They go to Unlimited Car Stereo and JB Customs Airlines, you know what I'm saying? They on their turnaround. Me, when I put a car together, I ain't tripping on no turnaround. Because it's a certain kind of way I want it, and for it to look the way I want it and to be the way I want it, it's gonna take time. I can hurry up and throw it together. You know what I'm saying? But it ain't gonna never be like 50 grand. JD from Beaumont with that big Delta. You got Lil Pig Daddy with the drop, with the new inside, with the new dash. You know what I'm saying? These are all cars that I've seen flash over the internet years in advance. You know, I think 50 grand might have came out faster than all of them. But the way it look when you take your time, bro, you can't beat it with a stick. If you just throw it together, it's gonna be whatever it's gonna be. You can't feel no type of way about nobody criticizing it either when you just throw it together. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't look at it that way.
You got a top 5 great slabs of all time?
From then on now.
We could do from then and from now.
Top 5 in my life. Let's see. I ain't gonna say slabs, I'm gonna say names. Because these people that the name I'm finna say had multiple cars. You know, they didn't just have 1 or 2 cars in there, they had multiple cars, like over the course of years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nigga never stopped fucking with cars. A couple of them took breaks, a couple of them didn't. But my number 1 car gonna be the Slant, Calvin. From then. You got the Bernards. They always did kind of come with their own. Then with some dudes I watched go from old school and convert over to new school. Like to go from chrome bumpers to plastic bumpers. You know what I'm saying? Like from the old to the new. They had some nice shit. But right now, I'm gonna say you got put together. You got Dominique. You got Lil Flathead, Mac Bernard. Damn, man. So many cars, bro. That shit just. I see it right now, so. You got dude Roy putting together a Fleetwood right now. I seen a couple of sneak peeks of it on some pictures. It's pretty nice. And you got Sid. You got Brad brother, Anky. You got a candy red 90 Fleetwood with white leather. The rest of it, bro, is basically just thrown together.
Yeah.
I'm talking about people who actually take time and put their cars together. Now, my favorite car, period, is the 83 Oldsmobile two-door coupe. That was my people Jack car. And my other cousin, JD, had it before he died. But Red Wolf actually got the car. After Jack died, his brother had it and Wolf had it. And we kept it for a while. It's kind of really sentimental on some shit. The speakers and all that shit, that's really like the same speakers that was put in it before my people passed. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's an actual car that was in the 90s that's still on the street right now.
Yeah.
And you can get in this bitch and you can drive this bitch right now anywhere you want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Like shout outs we get about him?
You got too many shout outs. Shout out to the people who fuck with me. Yeah. Other than that, I'm gonna keep it pushing.
Already. Before we get up out of here, let the people know where we at.
Man, this is Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Already. SlabOgsTV, another interview. We out.